last time we discussed was during the IOI discussion. So this
I
would
see.
be this would be the first time that we are engaging to go directly with Post TG in terms of because we're a vendor so we need to prepare all those integration for both soft cert and also roaming cert. So we're not sure about the procedure on how we're going to start. So perhaps your site could actually guide us step by step.
Ken, do you want me to go through back the slides or just go straight to the integration part?
I think we need to go through the slide. I think
I think you go through again.
we I think
Yeah.
to be fair to others, I think they also want to know what is the differences, what's all the cert that is going to available out there,
So,
and what is the difference? Yeah.
so perhaps maybe you can run through the slide one more time for my other colleagues here.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay,
Right,
Ken.
thank you.
Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yes, Ken, thank
Yeah,
you.
can see.
Okay. I think I'll skip this. This is a bit about us. We are a certification authority. Post Digital is actually a subsidiary of Post Malaysia. We serve both private and government sector. We have been around for 26 years, and we are the largest CA in Malaysia. Yeah. So moving on, as we all know that we have to embark on the e-invoice implementation soon. LHDN has given the timeline by 1st of August for those companies above 100 million, and eventually everybody will go on board next year. Yeah. Okay, there are there are two ways to do the e-invoice submission. The first one will be via My Invoice Portal. And the second one is via the API. For the My Invoice Portal is for those smaller companies or individual submissions where you have to upload the e-invoice one by one and then submit to LHDN via the portal. For this, you don't require any certificates because LHDN will be using back the e-filing or my tax certificate that you already have. So you don't need an organization certificate for this method. Yeah. So the second method, application programming interface API, this is where you need the org cert, the organization cert. We will verify the identity of the organization before issuing you the cert. Yeah. Okay. Here, the most important thing that a lot of companies needs to be aware is how do you submit this e-invoice. Basically, you need to understand your role because LHDN allows for two types of submission. First is you submit as a taxpayer. The company submitting as themselves. Or the second option would be you can also do it via an intermediary, meaning a holding company can submit on behalf of the subsidiaries. So you will only use one certificate for the submission, and you'll be doing it submission on behalf of your subsidiary. So you have 20 subsidiaries. You only need one certificate. You can use the holding company certificate to submit on behalf. Similarly, if the ERP solution provider, they want to be the intermediary, they have to register themselves as an intermediary with LHDN, and they can submit on behalf of their clients. And this also applies for tax agents as well. For instance, KPMG or EY or PwC, they want to submit on behalf of their clients, they can do so. If that's the case, then you only need one certificate to perform that transaction. Yeah. So far, everybody clear here? Yeah. Any questions?
Okay.
Do stop me. Yeah.
All right.
So when you are submitting as an intermediary, obviously the login also will be different. You need to log in as an intermediary as compared to logging in as a taxpayer for the normal individual submission. Okay. So what is digital certificate? I think you guys are mostly technical. So digital certificate, basically you are using it as an identification in the online world. In the physical world, you have IC or passports, but in online, you identify yourself via digital certificate. So key information regarding the company, for instance, the BRN, the business registration number, the tax identification number, the TIN number, the company name, the company email address will be included in the digital certificate. So with that certificate, you can perform the signing and also submit the e-invoice to LHDN. And this certificate must not be a self-signed certificate or something that you can get from online for free, mainly because the legality behind it. It has to be issued by a local CA like Post DigiCert, so that it is governed under the Digital Signature Act 1997 as per the requirement by LHDN. Yeah. And the validity of these certificates is usually between 1 to 3 years. But for e-invoice, mostly is for 1 year, but we can accommodate if you want to do it for a longer period. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is how a digital certificate look like. I think some of you would have been very experienced in this. It's similar to SSL, similar to individual certificates if you have used before. But this one is created specifically. The certificate profile is custom for LHDN e-invoice, whereby you have your company name, your TIN number, your BRN, business registration number, all to be included in it. And obviously the root, it has to be the root created for e-invoice project. Yeah. So Post DigiCert offers 2 types of certificates. We do have the soft certificate. We also have roaming. So the difference is soft certificate, we will give you the certificate, the P12 certificate together with the PIN, so that you can put it in your servers, and then you can call your ERP solution can call the certificates accordingly to perform the signings and whatnot. For roaming certificate, the difference is the cert is kept in our HSM in our backend servers. So you can have access to the certificate using API. Usually, intermediaries or aggregator platforms or middleware providers, they will tend to use roaming certificate because the load of the signing will happen at our end, as compared to if you have soft certificate, everything will happen at your end. But taking into all, end of the day, people go for price. Soft certificate is only 1,500. Roaming is 15,000 ringgit. So most companies, because at the early stage, I think they would go for a straightforward soft certificate approach first, mainly because it's cheaper. Yeah. So any questions? I'm nearing the end of the slides already. What we will provide, right, is basically guidelines. We have sample codes in .NET and Java. We do have a guideline created on how for you to proceed with the integration, be it roaming or even soft certificate, and also the signature hash, how to create and everything. We have the guidelines created. I think altogether we have about 3 that we can share with you for you to use as a reference in performing those integration. LHDN themselves have a few guidelines that has been created, so you can have a look at that as well. We do provide test certificates for free. You can apply for the test certificate, and we will be able to assist you accordingly. It's just that make sure that the information that you provide is actually legitimate, because even for the test environment, LHDN validates the TIN number and the business registration number, yeah, for the submissions of e-invoice. Important thing to note is at this moment, yeah, the signature validation module is still being developed at LHDN. I think maybe in a week's time or 2 weeks time from now, probably they finish developing that. What does that mean is basically, if you submit today your e-invoice submission without the digital signature, it will still be successful, and you will get a return from them stating it's successful, because there's no validation of signature is still happening at the moment. But what is confirmed is when it goes live, you definitely need digital signature, a production digital signature, to be used in creating the signature for the document before submitting to e-invoice. So any questions? Let me go back and open my screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Can we maybe I refer back to your slide talking about the roaming cert and also the
Okay.
soft cert, huh? So
This one, right?
yeah, this one. So the soft certificate and the roaming certificate, both these are also applicable for if they apply as a taxpayer or intermediary, right?
Yes, yes. They can use
So-
either or.
So meaning to say, if they are using it as a intermediary in roaming cert is 15K, but if they use it as a taxpayer in roaming cert also is actually 15K. As long as roaming cert, then it's 15K.
Yes, yes. Yes, correct.
It doesn't matter if they sign up the holding company as intermediary and
Correct.
behind the holding has got, let's say, 20 to 50 subsidiary. Doesn't matter.
Correct.
Because
Doesn't matter.
everybody is actually using the same cert.
So yeah.
All the
Yeah.
subsidiary is using the same cert as a holding company.
It's just that you
Okay.
make sure if you're submitting as an intermediate, you need to register yourself as an intermediary, then you can submit for multiple companies, even in the thousands.
Okay, just by using that one cert.
Yes, correct.
So
At least
that
it
can
allows
be
for that.
applicable for the .p12 format as well, both, huh?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Any other questions?
Okay, so regarding on the test cert, right? Perhaps you could actually let us know what we supposed to do and what we supposed to apply in terms of getting the test cert, because we require to build the API ourselves. So to connect for both roaming and soft cert, because most of our client is also asking which cert we are catering for. But of course, for our IFCA side, we want to cater for both.
Good.
So,
Understand? So,
when-
okay, we will provide you the application form. In the application form, please state that you require both the roaming and also soft certificate test certificates for both of the roaming and soft certificate, and then make sure the company details that you listed in the information are legitimate. And like for instance, the TIN number, the company registration number, all needs to be correct. Yeah, because when we incorporate it into the certificate, when you do the testing, and those information will be validated. However, no worries, because when we do the verification, even for test certificate, we do verification, we will make sure those numbers are there in LHDN. Yeah, and if there's any issue, we will definitely contact you back to make sure that the information is correct. You can use either IOI's information, or you can use your information, your own company's IFCA's information. So it doesn't really matter, because you're going to use it for testing purposes. It's just that the only difference in applying, right, would be once you go production, then we would need your director to sign the application form. For testing, we don't need a director. Anybody from your side will be able to sign. It's already okay. But for the production one, because it will create a legal binding effect on the digital certificate, so we would need the director of that company to sign the application form, because we will verify that director's name in the database that we have.
Okay. So when it comes with the test certificate, it will also come with the technical, let's say, for example, roaming cert, because we have to build the API, it will also come with the technical documentation for us, what need to be done.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
We will
Send
give you the
to,
guideline.
yeah, send to the soft cert lah, because we need to install your, the application, isn't it?
You would need to locate the digital certificate, and your ERP needs to call it. So we will give you the guideline with the sample codes.
Okay, sure.
Okay, but so once we get the test cert, we are able to build the based on the technical documentation is provided. If we were to have any queries on top of in terms of the technical, we can just directly liaise with you and your team.
And however, is all revolving around the cert. Yeah, if anything to do with LHDN side, then we wouldn't be able to help much lah. What we can,
Understand.
what we can
understand.
assist you is based on our experience that we have dealt with our customers.
Can I know regarding on this digital cert, right? Around when did LHDN provide the guideline to state that that the cert is supposed to be via API? Because early guidelines, right, they never mentioned there was an API supposed to implement.
Which API are you referring to? Yeah,
Referring to the
LHDN SDK, is it?
LHN SDK is one referring to the digital cert, because from the initial guideline, right, last time, long time ago lah, they mentioned that we just need to know digital cert, but they never
Yeah.
mentioned there was a API integration. So when they this API integration was confirmed not long ago, correct? I mean, like in May or something.
Are you referring to the roaming API?
No, the roaming cert. Are you saying the roaming cert?
Yeah, are you
Roaming cert,
referring to
yeah,
roaming?
yeah.
No.
Roaming
Yeah.
is our offering, and also I think some of the
Yeah,
CAs
yeah,
also
yes,
have
yeah.
the roaming certificate. So actually, LHDN doesn't dictate that. So it's up to you whether you want to use the roaming or not. Because some clients prefer to use roaming. I think about 2 or 3 certification authorities provide that roaming services. So it actually depends on if you want to use the soft certificate, you want to use the roaming, but as a service provider, like you said, it's better for you to cater both, because some of your clients want to use the other instead of soft certificate. So it's not there's no specific date or per se, but as per our discussion with LHDN, it was somewhere in May, middle of May.
Oh, okay, understand.
Yeah.
Because early stage we heard that was not ready yet, so we were very confused at some point. Okay,
Okay.
understand. Any question you guys have?
I have one
Yeah,
question here.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Avia. Okay, Sivan here.
No
So
problem.
on behalf of my clients, because they also wanting to like engage your team. So is it possible for you to send us one of your representative contact numbers or details? Therefore, we wanted them to straight away liaise with you guys instead of going through IFCA and get you guys to connect. You see, they themselves also, yeah.
You can email us at einvoice@postdigicert.com.my. That's my team's email address. So we have, I think, about 6 or 7 of us in the team. Any of us will attend to the inquiries accordingly.
So I'm just trying to note down. Is there any email or sharing later on for us?
I think
Okay.
Fifi, can you just share the email address in the chat box?
All right. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Um,
Mr. V?
my my question is actually talking about the login as an intermediary. You were mentioning that this requires some form of approval. Is it from
Correct.
the PostDigi cert or is from LHDN?
LHDN. So you need to register yourself as an intermediary so that you can submit on behalf. And I think there are certain information that they require, which is you are submitting on behalf of whom. So that needs to be provided to LHDN. And how do you do so? I think there are some information on how to register online in their website.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Question here. Okay, Sivan, you go first.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, one more question, because we come across to some clients whereby they are trying to convince us to be the parties to go obtain the emissaries, certifications for on behalf. So, what is your recommendation or what is your advice to us? Do we take ins as to be part of the intermediary, to submit on behalf would be better, or you think that they're supposed to apply themselves?
Okay, I get these questions a lot from providers like you. Again, I'm here to educate, not to make money. So I'll be very honest. If you want to make it as an added value to your service, since you're a service provider, I would suggest you to become the intermediary, so that from the end user point of view, right, they'll just have to concentrate on subscribing to your service. Everything is already covered by you guys. But if you want them to hold the responsibility in terms of submitting and whatnot, you can always get them to buy the certificate themselves, and you assist on the integration part. So it all depends on what's your business model. Do you provide that integration services for every single business entity that they are submitting to LHDN? So you need to decide on that. So what is your business strategy with regards to that section? So because some customers, some service providers, they charge for each of the integration work that they do with regards to that particular organization certificate that they they actually call, via that code. So if you want to do that with your customers, you want to get them to, okay, you know what, for this company, I need to do a minor integration to point the certificate accordingly. So then you can charge for that. So some customers do that. I mean, some service providers do that for each of the subsidiaries that those company has. But we do have big players like some of the big players, I can't mention names here. They will take up that role as the intermediary, and they say, customers, you don't worry, everything will be settled by our solution. You just have to use our solution only. So it goes back to your strategy in how you're going to do so. I can understand because we are from we are also SI, so we know what's this one lah. What's the motivation behind it lah.
And truly understand. Yeah, because the business model is different. Also, we are offering in terms of solution design on the SaaS model. So maybe we can go for that basis. For those ERP system, I would still prefer, they will need to opt their own. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Perfectly.
Thank you.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, Joe
Yes,
here.
Joe.
Let's say we use the roaming cert. Is there any security concern on because we're going to pass over the whole data via the API to you?
No, you only
then-
will pass us the signature hash.
Okay.
The document hash, sorry. So your XML file, right, will be converted into hash. So you only will be passing us the hash for signing. No actual document will be transferred to us.
So your side also will not keep the data, isn't it?
No. We
Okay.
only perform the signing function and we'll return back the hash to you.
Okay, so it's good. Then we can know how to answer to a customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions?
One more. So in other words, it's like take for instance, one group, they use a multiple system, which is like 8 to 10 system, and then they can obtain one cert and then share across the entire system.
Technically, correct. But ethically, that's another thing. Why I say is because you have, right, when it comes to digital certificates, copying of certificates actually is frowned upon because of the security reasons and whatnot. Because if one certificate fails, the other will automatically fail because if you do copy it. But due to budget constraints and whatnot, a lot of people do that. You use the same certificate, you just copy into multiple systems. We do have clients who go with DR setup, HA setup, pre-pros and whatnot. So they will have multiple certs for all these environments. But technically, you only need one certificate and you can copy them to each of the environments and you can submit. However, an important thing to note, right? If you are using for production, the production certificate and the root chain will need to be the same. Because LHDN is using for production, there's a different route. For staging, there's a different route. So there are two different certificates altogether. So if you use for your production, and if you point to your to LHDN staging, it will not work. So it has to be production, staging. So that's the only consideration that you need to that you comply to. Other than that, yes, technically you are able to use one certificate for multiple applications. And the most important thing here is who are you submitting as? So if you are going to submit as your organization, make sure that you are using your certificate. But if you're submitting as an intermediary, make sure the intermediary certificate is being used for the submission. That's the main concern or consideration that you need to understand.
Yeah. So yeah, totally understand. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
No more. Okay, need to see the technical
Okay.
part first.
So far, no question on my end.
Okay.
How about the floor? Anyone else? If don't have, give you 3 seconds. No question. We end the session. No.
So yeah, you can be in touch with us. We will provide you the form and all the guidelines
Okay.
so that you can test it at your site.
Okay, can. Okay, so I believe there's no other questions from the floor. I think we can end the session. Thank you for your
Yeah,
time
no
so
more.
much. Oh,
Okay.
one more. Okay.
No more. Thank you.
Oh, no more. Okay, all right.
Thank you so much.
Alright.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you
Nice
so much for allowing Post Digital to present. Wishing you a great week ahead. Thank